So yeah, we're recording, and go ahead. Thanks.
Good morning, good day, everybody. Welcome to Engineering Weekly, number 30. Great to have you on board today. And so what I'd like to do is we've got an agenda. I don't know if you guys have found that. Let me do this. Let me post that in the Zoom call here so you can check out what we're doing and our flow. Let's see here, chat. It's great to see some new faces here today. All right, there's the agenda, guys. So let's take just an opportunity to recognize that it is National Bagel Day, by the way, Bagel Fest Day. So in honor of Bagel Fest Day, we have some bagels. Unfortunately, I can't teleport these through the Zoom system. But hopefully you'll get a chance to have a bagel or some tasty morsel of food this morning. And so what I'd like to do is just do a quick round of introductions for the folks that are on the call. And let's start with Dan Matthews. Why don't you just share who you are, what you're working on, and if you're a core contributor, just share with us some of the repos or the project focuses that you have, so other people on the call will know who you are and potentially where to go to get information on certain projects. Dan, why don't you take it away?
Sure, thank you. As you said, my name is Dan. I live here in Burlington, Vermont. I'm about to move to Croatia, and probably it looks like that's going to be during the month of September. I'll be traveling through Europe. I have been working as a professional developer for a little over a dozen years now. Last gig was a couple of different projects with Travis. And so he turned me on to this project and said I should definitely come over and do some work with you guys. And so I am working on the service listener at the moment, which is a new project going to be designed to kind of take some of the overhead away from listening to all of the contracts and make it a little bit nicer on the other apps. So I've just started working on that yesterday. And that is a Node app. I don't have much more to say about it at the moment because it's so new, but my background is in Ruby, Elixir, functional programming, object-oriented programming, and sorry for the alarm there, and lots and lots of JavaScript frameworks over time. So I am a polyglot and looking forward to completing my transition into the cryptocurrency world and no longer developing Web 2 apps.
Cool. Thanks very much. That's a great introduction. Let's see, Michael.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Cool. My name is Mike. I just moved to Spain about 4 months ago, and I've been coding JavaScript since I was about 10, and I've been working for, 14 years or so, doing freelance stuff, and I've been working in larger projects. I started off by making games, and since then I've been working on a lot of websites. The last thing I worked on was HTML5 JavaScript advertisements for companies like Disney and Machine Zone. And I'm super interested in getting to work more into blockchain stuff and all sorts of different things going on. So I recently did the Explorer API, or the Explorer redesign, and that's about it. That's all I've done so far. So
cool. Yeah, thanks for all your hard work. In fact, Mike's got a little bit of a demo here later on in the program, so looking forward to that. It was our first contributor doing a demo on the call, so there we go.
Cool.
So thanks. I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Oh, no worries.
Travis.
Hey, how's it going? I promise I didn't get in a fight. I crashed my bike this weekend. Pretty good one. My name's Travis. I'm a developer on the core team at Market Protocol, and I'm currently working on filling and trading orders in the D app. And I'm about one step away from completing that. So it's very, very close to actually being able to fill an order. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Travis. Dano.
Hi, I'm Dan O'Farron. I'm a software engineer. Dropped in mostly to see what's going on with this call. Yeah, not much to say. I haven't contributed much here yet, so.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. Baldas. I'm sorry, I probably butchered your name. Maybe you're on mute or away from your desk. Let's move on to Nitin.
Hey guys, I'm a core contributor to Market. I am a designer and a front-end developer, and I have been working on the deploy contracts of the app over the past week. So I think I've completed that, and I'm currently working on the SIM exchange, which the design for the SIM exchange. So pretty exciting stuff going on there.
Awesome. Thanks, Nitin. Patrick. You're on mute.
And I'm on mute. Patrick Charles, I'm an advisor, and I've helped out with SEO and some of the infrastructure market protocol. And I have a development background.
Cool. Thanks, Patrick. Iswar.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Isha from Market Protocol. So I'm a developer there working for the past 3 months, like majorly around the app and market.js library. So like, thanks everyone for joining the call.
Thanks, Iswar. And Getty, hey, you just joined us. How about a short introduction yourself and what you do? You might not be able to hear us. That's okay. We'll move on. I appreciate everyone introducing themselves, telling us a little about what you're working on. And so let's get in a little bit into the call. I'm going to take. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, in the room here, I'll let Phil do an introduction.
Yeah, we just see each other too often. Don't even.
Sorry, guys.
Phil Sasser, CTO and co-founder of Market Protocol. Yeah, I'm really excited that we have some new contributors on the call today. Mike Stone, I want to say thanks for your hard work on the Explorer. I'm really excited to see it. And Dan, also really excited that you're joining us in building Trace. Will help a lot of what we're trying to do and simplify some of those load times on the app. So glad to have you guys joining the call and also contributing to the project. So thank you.
And I'm Robert Jordan, your host. All right, I'm going to share my screen and just review a few stats from our project. Hold on just a second. I'm going to move this out of the way. So in general, on the contributor level, just again, building a bit of a history here with some data and following the main projects that we have as an organization. And, you know, just tracking this over time, you'll see that our Market Protocol, the DApp website, and Market.js and our types repos are the most active ones. And I would say overall, the DApp, the website, and Market.js are definitely primary focuses, and you'll see a lot of activity in each one of those, especially Market.js as that becomes really the centerpiece for what we're doing in the way of technology and interfacing in not only with our smart contracts, but allowing other dApps and applications to be able to utilize our platform. So you're starting to see a lot of activity there. Of course, the Market Protocol repo is our Solidity contract. So it gets active and then it dies down a bit simply because of it's more refinement of the contracts at this point. But you see some just general trends and as far as forks and watchers and contributors and commits each week, which is, I think, always nice to see. And if there's other data that you guys would like to see on this call, just let me know. I'm more happy to share that with you. Next section is notable comments. We always like to identify our contributors in the community that give back. whether it's of their own time or the bounties through Gitcoin. So again, great work this week again. A lot of work. I feel like everyone on the team is in the same page of we're making great progress and moving the projects forward at a rapid pace. So again, thanks very much for everybody's contribution this week. Weekly releases, it's always good to see code move out to quote unquote production, at least right now. Well, I'll call it in quotes. The different projects, the Market.js releases, I think the times on those, I'm not sure why GitHub reported that. Those were actually staged over the week. I think it had something to do with some updates that we did on those releases or those tags. So again, a lot of work's been done. Again, a lot of momentum behind our Market.js project. And if you're curious about what that is, just please feel free to bring that up as we talk through the call here. It's just a little bit of a background for those of you that might not know. It's a TypeScript, JavaScript library that really wraps not only Web3, but the whole Solidity architecture that we have, and of course the Ethereum blockchain, to be able to allow it in our world, bringing the derivatives market onto the blockchain. So it's very specific to derivatives. It's similar to what 0x is doing in their project, although this is, again, very specific to the derivatives market and being able to trade pairs of assets against each other in a way that's will help with volatility, others with hedging, and just a lot more stability for the platform in general. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, if you have any more questions, please let me know, whether it's on chat or reach out to me directly or on our Discord channel. So we have any questions, by the way, so far? Good. So we've got a section, I think it's starting to be useful, where we call Heads Up. And Heads Up is really an opportunity for us to, as we drill through the week, there's a lot of times we have areas that we bump into or ideas or comments about, hey, if I would have known that, it would have saved me 5 hours of troubleshooting. So this is an opportunity for not only the community, but Contrib to share anything that you might have and something you bumped into this week that will be helpful for others that are working with the project. I'll sort of throw that out there and do a pregnant pause to allow anyone that has anything to contribute to speak.
Well, I've got something that maybe people should be aware of that's in the pipeline in Market.js. There's a big pull request right now that anyone can review. I'll put them in the chat right here if they want to see it. But essentially, it provides some more functionality around wrapping our collateral pool objects and simplifies, I think, a lot of the function calls in Market.js. So you're no longer having to worry about, does this function accept the collateral pool address or the actual market contract address? Everything is going to be simply done by the market contract address, as well as allowing you to deposit collateral that way. So it abstracts the fact that there's actually multiple contracts behind that and allows for, I think, a much simpler interface to use for that API. So take a look at that pull request. If you want to comment in the thread there, that'd be great. Once that does get merged and released, it will certainly change some of the API function calls that are going to be made in the DApp and any other repos that are reliant on Market.js.
Yeah, check that out. I think it's gonna make for a lot more simplicity inside of the project. We do have one topic, and we can do it now, or we can do it after the demos, Phil. We're talking about, I didn't know quite where to put it on the heads up or discussion, but just to have a quick discussion, or maybe not so quick of a discussion, on talking about merges and rebasing. You wanna push it to after the demos, or you want to do it now?
I think we can maybe just time box it for now, and then if it gets longer, we can do it after the demo. So maybe we'll just spend the next 5 minutes talking about it, and then if it carries on and it's a very huge conversation, we could bring it back after the demo so people can make sure to see the demos, which I think is maybe the coolest part of the call. So the issue that we're facing is as we have more contributors and we have more core team members working in the same repos, we have PRs that are outstanding. And currently, well, actually, as of yesterday, we were enforcing that those PRs be up to date with the latest code on the branch we're attempting to merge into. So if you were to create a PR, a pull request for your branch onto develop, and then a few hours later we merge someone else's PR into develop, well, now you have to go and rebase before we're able to actually approve your pull request. I think Mike Stone probably ran into this issue like several times yesterday, and I think it's really just hard for our contributors to keep up with that. And so one of the things we're talking about internally is removing the necessity that we have the PR be up to date with the branch always. At least giving us the flexibility to choose when we're doing that versus right now it's locked down, so we can't. So you have to have admin privileges to actually merge a PR that's quote unquote out of date. So I'm happy to hear from contributors if they feel like it's been a really kind of bad experience for them to have to do that. And that's my main concern, I guess, is making contributors' lives easier to make sure that you guys want to contribute, that we're not asking you to kind of just do this work that's obviously just kind of reorganization. So that's the main issue and what I wanted to talk about with respect to that.
It wasn't that hard for me to do anything on my end, but wasn't that difficult. I didn't mind doing it. But if you guys want to do that, it's fine.
I think it's more that, I've worked on a lot of projects with lots of people, and I don't think we've ever enabled that feature because, I can't think of almost any time, at least in JavaScript and such, where I've had a branch that had no conflicts that broke something that was not okay to merge in if its tests were passing. At least for me, it's kind of annoying to have to keep going. Like if there's 5 or 6, for instance, if there's 5 PRs in waiting like we had yesterday, we had like 4 or 5. Every single time we merge one of those, the other 4 contributors now have to go back and rebase with the code just to merge, even though there's no conflicts. And that's really not a good experience, having to wait each time. So it extrapolates because the next one I merge, now 3 people have to do it again. And then the next one we merge, now 2 people have to do it again. And then the next one we merge, now 1 person has to do it until we're done. And that's rough.
This may come as no surprise because we've worked together for the last couple of years, but I agree completely with Travis. I've never experienced an issue with that approach.
Right. So the idea, or why even GitHub allows you to lock that down, is so theoretically, if a test would fail on newer code, it could be avoided. But I think it's, as an admin of the repo, I often find myself just bypassing it anyways. And so to me, it seems like a silly check. So I think that's good feedback and that's helpful. And us as maintainers of the code base may have insight into what we're merging. So if we do believe that there's an issue, we could ask contributors to rebase before we did it, before we merged, but it would be on us to have an idea of what it is. And because we do have develop separate from production, it's not like if there is some slight chance of an issue, it's not like it's going to get pushed to production without the opportunity to fix it too. Okay, cool.
So the decision is?
Unless anyone else wants to talk more about it, I think we'll relax that setting in GitHub and leave it on us as maintainers to make sure that we're merging appropriately.
Is there a continuous integration server? I haven't dug too deep into the docs yet.
There is. For all the repos, we have Travis CI, not Travis set up. And so there's automated testing with all the PRs that goes through. So both for coverage and then just for build and all of the tests as well.
Okay, and that's per push on the main branch?
Yep.
Okay, that should cover most of the testing situations then, I would think.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty rare that this is actually ever an issue. And so for the amount of headache that it causes, I think it's kind of silly.
Yeah, and you can just roll it back when we're wrong. It's not like it's a deploy situation.
The beauty of version control. Okay, cool.
Good.
I think we're good. We can move on.
All right. Easy. So now, Mike Stone is a contributor that recently joined our project, and he worked on some great functionality with the new Contract Explorer. So we reached out to ask him if he'd like to do a demo today, and he said yes. So our first contributor demo. And Mike, do me a favor, because what we like to do with these demos, I cut them out of the recording, and so we post them separately because as little snippets. So before you start, just pause and then say your name, what you're going to demo, and then move on into the demo. Sorry to be a little structured here, but it really does help out with the editing.
Sure, no problem. I'm Mike Stone, and I did the Explorer API, or sorry, the Explorer redesign. So I did a new design for the Explorer page, and I'll share the screen right now. So yeah, this is probably going to be short and sweet because I didn't really add a ton of functionality. I mostly just redesigned with the functionality that was already there. I added some new UI elements. So these are custom UI elements that was in the design that I implemented. The biggest thing I implemented in terms of functionality is this all contracts list. So this provides like filters, and we can add more filters if we need to in the future. But they just kind of provide like generic filters or filters that we can decide later. So balance and expiring soon are the two ones we have now. And I also included a all token. So this is a filter for different types of tokens that you can select.
Is that refresh just on this?
Sorry, what was that? Oh, okay, yeah, so you can select different filters for the tokens, and you can search here. So let's do search by name. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot, there's like this extra side thing here. So if you click on this, you get more options, and you can see a little more details about each item. And you can also copy the Oracle query to the clipboard. So when you do that, click on that, it copies the Oracle URL. And I added some custom pagination things so you get a little more information down here. That's pretty much it.
Awesome, Mike. I think it looks awesome. I think it'll be a very nice improvement from the current Explorer, which is a little bulky to go through and try to find information on. So that's cool. Is there, I know in one of the mocks there was some colors for contracts that were expiring in a short amount of time. Are those added yet, or are those yet to be done for maybe some other issues and contributors to work on?
That's there. It just none of these are expiring soon. So it turn red when it's like within a day, I think.
Awesome.
That looks great, Mike. A lot nicer than what we had before.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks a lot, and thanks to Ari, who's not on the call, and Nitin and Eswar all for collaborating and working to get this thing designed and thought out to where it is now. So thank you guys.
Yep.
Next up, we've got, I believe, Nitin, and Nitin's going to take us through. We've got, let me see here, some new deploy contract designs. and I'll allow him to take the screen and just go ahead and pause, then say your name, what you're going to demo, and then move on into the demo.
Sure thing. Hey guys, I'm Nathan. So today I'm going to demo the deploying of contracts in the app. Let me just share my screen quickly. Yes. And yeah, so I'll just walk through the different types of deploying of contracts we have. So we have kind of three versions of deploying the contracts. One is a simplified version and the guided version, which explains kind of each step on what you have to do. And the one is the quick deploy, which is kind of for the advanced people. So I'll just quickly go through the simplified deploy flow. So it's basically a 5-step deploying of contracts. And we've kind of simplified as much as possible, giving as friendly interface as possible. And we have first the selection of exchange API, where user can select whatever exchange available over there. So right now, let me just go and try deploying one contract. So I'll just select, I guess, BNB. And as soon as you select, we pre-fill our contract name over here. So I think we're currently working on the standardization of this contract name. So where in the future, I guess, I'm not sure, but we won't be able to edit this certain info. But yeah, that is there. And then if you click on next, the view pricing rules. So we can set the price cap and price floor appropriately over here. And we have a little graph thanks to one of our contributors for this. And basically, it's a graph between the price cap, price floor, and the current price of the selected pair. So if you kind of edit this value, basically, let me just edit the value of the price floor to 1.018. So it automatically shows you that the current price is kind of nearing to the price floor. So you can set based appropriately on how it has to be there. Then you can kind of select the expiration of the contract. We'll just leave it there. And then this is the one screen which I'm kind of proud of. It's a very simple, easy interface for a user to select the gas price for the contract. So it's as simple as like sliding over to how fast you want the contract to be done and how slow. So just move on to the slow part. As you can see, it'll take message tells it'll take forever to confirm. So as you move along, it just changes and calculates the appropriate amount of gas and amount of time it might take. So it's in average. So we also have a bunch of info material over here if you want to know what is this about and how is it calculated, etc. And then if you click on deploy, the MetaMask pop will show up. And then I'll just quickly confirm. And this is our new deploy contracts flow. It's kind of changed than we demoed last week. So I think the demoing last week, we got some feedback that it's a bit of complicated kind of thing. So right now it's simplified into the 3 steps. Basically, right now we are doing 2 transactions. And first, as soon as transaction happens, it goes to the next step. And we can kind of see the description of what is happening over here. So let's give some time for the transaction to complete. So the functionality wise, it's pretty much the same. Only the UI and the usability wise, it's improved. Yeah, so the contract is deployed successfully. And if you can just see the Explorer page, the contract which is deployed will be there. So this is the simplified deploy flow, which I assume most of us will be kind of using this. And there is one advanced flow. So even this is kind of a bit enhanced, made some improvements over here. It's like a simple form where if you know exactly what the contract has to be deployed to, and if you know what has to be done, it's pretty straightforward and you can just deploy it over here. Similarly, we have the guided one. This is more for first-time users, like exactly to know what exactly they have to pre-fill and what exactly they have to kind of add. So you can just like read through this and kind of select and navigate. So I'll just like try one example. So I'll just select the data source as URL, and we can set the Oracle query. I'll just give an example of this BTC USD. And of course, like if you can read through, it's pretty straightforward on how what has to be done and etc. So we'll just see. I'll just set the price value over here for the price cap. And an example over here. I mean, it's pretty much the same as the simplified, but this has more of explanation on what is going on. Yeah.
I just want to say that the gas settings are like, yeah, drastically improved. I mean, I think that's a really hard user experience for everyone in the space right now, is when new people come into trying to use Ethereum and understanding how to set gas prices and what that all means. So I really like what you guys have done there. So I'm excited that that's hopefully will allow people a little bit simpler explanation on how to use gas.
Yes. Yeah, even I kind of like that. Cool. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Any questions or if you guys have or something?
No, I think that was great, Nitin. Thanks very much. I can imagine one day soon, where we won't even have to talk about gas with end users. One day.
Yeah.
Thanks again for all the hard work there, and
Definitely.
yours and Eswar and the contributors. That looks great.
Definitely. Thank you, Robert. All right.
All right, last demo is actually me, and Phil can chime in as needed. Let me set up here. This is Robert Jordan, and I'll be demoing the project planning board that we implemented last week. And let me give you a little bit of a background on what we've done here. As an organization, we've grown, not only in the development team, but just as an organization overall. And to give support of not only the internal resources, but also the community, we really needed to sit down and figure out how we can better give visibility to the work that we're currently trying to complete, as well as create an opportunity for not only our core, but also our contributor members to be able to participate in our project. So we spent a fair number of hours last week to organize our project board in a way that I think hopefully will make more sense to the folks that are on this call and others that might be listening in the future. We decided to use a product which is it's an overlay on top of GitHub, and it's called Zen Hub. And essentially what this does is that, think of a JavaScript injection on top of GitHub that allows us to do some additional functionality. So if you're familiar with the project boards inside of GitHub, this is just an enhancement of that. It doesn't use the project board, but it's like their project board, but on steroids. And I think it really meets our needs without creating a lot of overhead, not only for the core, but also the contributors. And so the way that we've organized the project, and I'll give you the hierarchy, we've moved into a release cycle that is 4 weeks or a month long. Some of these terms that I'm using are loaded, and we don't particularly care for them, because they have multiple meanings. So I'll just try to share with you what they mean in our context. When you hear the word release, we're trying to identify a body of work to be accomplished within a period of time. That's all that means. Inside of that release, our projects and repos might release their individual pieces of software on a very frequent basis. It could be every other day, it could be every week. Some projects we might want to align to that monthly time frame because it just makes sense from an execution perspective. So please don't associate the release with a big bang at the end of the month. We're just trying to identify a body of work. As an example, you'll see that our monthly release for August encompasses this functionality. And so what we do is that we sit down as a team and we talk about the functionality and then start to break this down to individual issues. I'll talk more about the epics and what those mean in just a moment. We've also decided to move into a weekly cycle. We call it a milestone. Sometimes this is known as a sprint or an iteration. And so we'll build the milestones based upon the issues that are outstanding and the priority of those issues. So currently we're in week 30. We're in that particular iteration, and everything in the backlog does relate to the week 30 work. We also have an in progress column. Obviously, as we start work, we pull into the in progress. And then as a PR comes in or one is created, there's the code review column that will signify that this particular issue has a PR associated with it and it needs to be reviewed. Now, this board is available to anybody that has a GitHub account. I did share that inside of the agenda, so feel free to click on that. It will ask you for your GitHub username and allow Zen Hub to be able to quote unquote log you in, but it doesn't require any sort of software to be installed. If you do decide to start utilizing this on a more frequent basis, we do recommend installing the Zen Hub plugin for Firefox or Chrome, and it will give you this nice overlay as you're inside of GitHub. I talked about the monthly release. We're working on the concept of epics and issues. And epics, just think of an epic as something that takes multiple milestones or multiple iterations to complete. So when we bump into features like that or issues like that, we want to break them down and spread those over milestones. So you'll see an epic that is created to represent that. So fill orders or return values from all transactions. Obviously, we have the monthly release epics. And when I click on these, you'll see as we scroll down, there are the different issues in the different stages, or as Zen Hub says, the pipeline. So epics is a pipeline, Icebox is a pipeline, backlog is a pipeline, and so forth. So you get an idea of where the particular issues are at, and also you'll see an estimation on that particular issue. It's something you probably don't have to be concerned about as a contributor. If you do find that you're looking to enter a new issue, anybody using the link from what I think Phil posted on our Zen Hub, on the Zen Hub website, you're able to create an issue. Please do so. There is a template that's utilized. You can also do this from within GitHub as well. That option is still available. You just wouldn't see the overlay unless you have the plugin and you're a registered user on Zen Hub. What else? Oh, our flow of work. So when we take a look at how we like to look at priorities on a daily basis, we first, we work 24/7 because we've got individuals across the world. And so what will typically happen is that we'll look at the code review column, because any work that's sitting there that can be accepted and then completed, we also like to get that done, not only for the contributors, but also sometimes these are associated with bounties. We use Gitcoin. And so, for example, you'll see on this particular issue 201, you see a bounty is attached. So we know someone is working on that is from GitHub. Obviously, we want to be very timely in the way of getting work completed and payouts. So we want to be very attentive to anything that might have a PR associated with it. The in progress column, we do ask that you put one issue at a time in. Sometimes it necessitates that another issue, you pull another issue in simply because you might be blocked on something that you're currently working on. And then, of course, in the backlog. In the backlog, we try to make sure this is a prioritized list of issues that can be pulled in. The reason why I share this with you is that as a contributor, if you're looking for something to work on or contribute to, sometimes getting a good idea of what's in flight and what's being prioritized in the current milestone, which is in the backlog column, will give you an idea of something that you might say, hey, I could contribute to that, and then reach out to one of us. Or we also have an open bounties column. There doesn't happen to be anything in there right now, but if there is something that we posted on Gitcoin that is available to be taken, you'll see that in the open bounties column or pipeline. There's also this icebox. If you're curious about some of the things that are slated for the next iteration or milestone, that's where we're doing our refinement to figure out what's coming up. And then any new issues that anybody will enter goes into our new issues pipeline or column. So when you enter an issue or any of us enter an issue, we'll leave that issue in the new issues column. And when we do our product planning and refinement, we'll decide, does that need to be put into the icebox? Is it something that we need to pull into the backlog right away because it might be a bug and blocking some other functionality or causing something production to go haywire? So it's an ongoing refinement that we find ourselves in to make sure it fits into the right area and also a priority for that particular piece of work. Again, entering an issue, it's very simple. You'll click on the new issue button. You don't have to worry about the labels because those will be things that us as a core team will assign, but just putting your issue title, filling out as much information as possible is always very helpful for us. And then going and submitting the new issue once you're done. We are deprecating the old board, or actually it has been. So please use the new project board link that's been posted, not only here, but also in our agenda for this call. And that's it. So does anyone have any questions about the way that we're working, issues, our project, or about how this flow works inside of Zen Hub? Great. Well, we appreciate being able to share this with you, and hopefully it'll give our community a better understanding of what's currently in progress. What is some of the feature functionality that's coming up in this current release and future releases. And if you want to see more of a higher level meta view of the roadmap, that's on the website. This tool is not intended to give you that view. This is a much more short-term view on a monthly basis of what the team plans to complete. And of course, if you have any comments on the higher level roadmap and overview, feel free to reach out to us on Discord. And that's all I have. Great. So any other questions before we close the call?
Just want to thank everyone again for joining and spending the time on the call with us. It's awesome to see new contributors continue to join our project. Really happy about that. If some of the new people that aren't contributors or that are just joining the call have any questions or feedback on any of this after the call, I'm happy to field that either in Discord or wherever would be appropriate. So glad that people are excited about our project, and I'm really pretty pleased with the progress and the pace that things are going with the development team. So congratulations to all of you for making that possible.
Thanks, Phil. Next week, we'll be focusing on more of the simulated exchange and our UI UX work, as well as the Market.js build out and integration into the DApps. So come find us. There's a lot of work to be done. We'd love to work with you. And my parting inspiration video, I don't know if you've seen this. This is about a year and a half ago this came out. It is super cool to watch. Just a little snippet. I fast forwarded in the video, but this individual, virtually individuals recorded a choir on their own, and then they meshed this together to create one choir and a video. There's actually several songs they've done now, but if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely worth a watch because it is very cool. So with that, have a great week. Happy deving, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Later, everybody.
Bye.